Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to be sharing my favorite nonfiction books that I read in 2022 and then also a 2023 nonfiction TBR. I didn't read a ton of nonfiction in 2022 and that wasn't intentional. I actually thought I was going to read way more, but I did start a new job and that changed a lot of things. So that is that. But I'm excited to share these books with you. They really are super good. Like my favorites are like really good. And then I do have quite a big TBR to share too. So I'm excited to show these books. So the first nonfiction book that I read in 2022 was The Case for Grace by Strobel. And I actually read this in the first week of the year because it counted for one of the Read in the New Year reading prompts for my readathon with Holly. So it has water on the cover, so that's why it counted. But yeah, so this is kind of Lee Strobel's investigation into what grace looks like in people's lives. And it was told in story form. So every chapter was actually a different person's story of how God's grace impacted their life. So it wasn't research based and like historical based. It was like real testimony based. And I really loved that. The stories that he shared were so beautiful and I just was blown away. I loved it. I was super engaged and he just was so kind in the way that he shared these people's stories. And lots of these stories are very raw, honest, and just so relatable. So I loved it. This book is so good. Lee Strobel is just so talented and I really like the kinds of things that he writes. So I enjoyed it. Okay, next book is A Long Obedience in the Same Direction by Eugene Peterson. I loved this book so much. Basically, he goes through the Psalms. They're called the Psalms of Ascent. So it's Psalm 120 to 134. And so each chapter is kind of breaking down what that psalm is about and how it's supposed to help us with our life. And it was just so useful, so interesting, so encouraging. And it just was exactly what I needed to read at the time. I really like nonfiction books that study a part of the Bible and really make it so applicable to modern life. And it was very encouraging, just to show that like every human emotion is, yes, present in our life, but that each one can be met with God's presence and we can get through anything with God. So I really liked it and highly recommend. And my next favorite is It's Not Supposed to Be This Way by Lysa Terkeurst. This one got me through the hardest points of my unemployment. If you guys remember, yeah, at the beginning of this year, January and February, I was unemployed. And I mean, I was unemployed since June of 2021. But I had stuff going on. But in the new year, I didn't have anything going on. And I was just like waiting to hear back from a job. And it was extremely difficult. I was afraid every day. And I was like, God, where are you? Like, it feels like you left. I don't understand what is happening. And then I read this book and there's just certain passages, certain like parts that Lysa wrote where I just was like, I had to just stop and cry and just be like, God, this is exactly how I feel. Like, I don't know anything. How do I like function in my day when this is happening? And this book just gave me words to pray. And I just like, I found a way to like cling to everything that I had in me to still believe that God is good and that he sees me and that things are happening behind the scenes that I don't know and that it won't be like this forever. Yeah. So this book was very important for me. It helped a lot. I loved it. Okay, last book. Literally, I only have 4 favorite nonfiction books, but it's Gentle and Lowly by Dane Ortlund. I was part of the like live show buddy read that Krista did on her channel. I'll link the live shows down below. There's 4 of them. And it was so fun to do that. And this book is amazing, okay? It basically talks about the character of Jesus and what his character means for us. And I loved it. And he kind of like focuses on the verse, Matthew 11:28, "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest," because Jesus says, "I am gentle and lowly at heart" in that verse. So yeah, I love this book. It's really good. Super good experience buddy reading it, so I would highly recommend it. So on to the TBR. So despite not reading a ton of nonfiction, I was gifted a ton of nonfiction this past year, and I'm so excited about it. I think one of the things that kept me from reading more nonfiction is the books that I had or that I was trying to make myself read, I wasn't really interested in, or I didn't like really want to read them. But these ones, my friends know what's up, and they've sent me amazing nonfiction books that I really want to read, and I could see myself reading all of these this year. So that's why, like, I'm putting them on a TBR, and I'm gonna refer to this video every time I'm like, what nonfiction should I read next? It'll be one of these. Okay, so I'm gonna link all of my friends down below who sent me books. First book, for sure, Tailor Made by Alex Seeley. This came from Bailey, and this was one of her favorite books. And I had it on my TBR like a long time ago, but I just didn't know, I didn't think I could ever get it, so I gave up. But then Bailey got it for me. So yay! Yeah, so I'm pretty sure this is just about how God has tailor-made us, like each individual, each of us, so unique, and we are made for a reason, we are here for a reason. And I think it's just gonna be super encouraging. The little tagline is, "Discover the secret to who God created you to be." And I really love reading about that. So I think I'm gonna love this book, and it's really pretty. I like the dragonfly. Okay, I've showed this book quite a few times, but I'm gonna show it again. Waymaker from Lindsay. For sure wanna read this. I've actually, every time I share this, someone says, "Oh, I've read that and it's so good." So I think I'm gonna love it. And I'm pretty sure this is about prayer specifically, or like intimacy with God, but yeah. Okay, another one, God Speaks Your Love Language, Gary Chapman. This is a loan from a friend. But yeah, so this is, I think it's going through every love language and then how God can speak to you through that. Makes sense, right? And so I'm very excited. And actually in the haul video that I showed this, I asked people to write what their love languages were. So if you're curious, you can link it, or I'll link it down below and you can go watch it. It was very interesting to see how people are so different, and God can speak to all of us in different ways. So I think this book's gonna be great. Okay, another one I've been meaning to read is Blue Like Jazz by Donald Miller. I've listened to a podcast interview with this guy, and he's very fascinating. So I'm just interested. Like, he said this is his best-selling book ever. Like, no book has ever topped this. He's written quite a few other books apparently, but yeah, this is his best-selling book, and I've heard people quote it before and mention it like in my real life, and I know this exists, but I just have never read it. So the little line is non-religious thoughts on Christian spirituality. I don't know, but I'm just curious. I want to read this so that I know and I have an opinion about it. So this, I'm curious about it. So feel free to leave your thoughts, but I'm gonna read it with an open mind and we'll go from there. Okay, I want to read another Lee Strobel, of course, and I have this book. It's called God's Outrageous Claims, Discover What They Mean for You. So once again, I don't know. So the outrageous claims, there are, I'm going to the table of contents. There's 9 outrageous claims, and I think it's gonna be good. I mean, I like his books a lot. So yeah, like one of them is outrageous claim number 1, there's freedom in forgiving your enemies. Outrageous claim number 9, God's rules on sex can liberate us. Oh, okay. Yeah, I really want to read this and know my opinion on it. So excited. Okay, and then I'm going to share the 2 devotionals that I would like to read. So first of all, A Path to Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers, from Bailey as well. And this one I would like to start at the very beginning of the year, if not even before January 1st. I can't wait. Yeah. Want to start this one because then immediately after, I want to start this one. There's just something about this book. I just love it so much. This is going to be on display when I'm done reading it. This deserves to be on display. This is from Miriam, and she just knocked it out of the park with this one. I can't wait. I can't wait. But yeah, I do want to read this one first though, because I got it first. And then lastly, the devotional that I for sure want to do for Lent because I got it from Amanda. It's 40 Days Through the Bible. So those are just the ideas that I have for next year of the nonfiction that I want to read. But yeah, as you can see, I'm excited to read those books, so that is good. I'm not gonna like force myself. I want to enjoy it. I don't want to just like skim through this nonfiction, because what's the point of that? Because I tend to do that sometimes. Yeah, and I really recommend those 4 books that I shared at the beginning. So good. So yes, check out the people I linked down below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.